Alright guys, so today we're going to go ahead and go through our review for our translations and other transformations that we do on our grid system. So first what we have to do is we have to plot our original points. So I have -8, 5. I have -5, 8. I have -2, 6. And I have -5, 3. So I have this rectangular shape. And that's my original. So what I'm going to do with it for my answer is I'm going to do a different color. So if you would like to say that this color is your pre-image, and this color, whatever color you choose, is your image, that would be great. So that way I know tomorrow which is which. If you want to shade in your image, so your final answer compared to your regular one, because these don't have letters, so we can't do the A prime, B prime, C prime stuff. So if you want to do colors, I'm more than welcome to say colors, just some way that I know that you have the original and the image after. So we're going to go ahead and do this rule. So we're going to add 5 to my x's and subtract 1 to my y's. So that first part, I have -8 plus 5, which is -3. And then 5 minus 1, which is 4. My new point will be at 0, because -5 plus 5 is 0. And 7. I'll be at 3, 5. And I'll be at 0, 2. So let's go ahead and see what this guy looks like. So we're going to be at -3, positive 4. We're going to be at 0, 7. 3, 5. And 0, 2. So we should have had an isometry, which means that they stay the same. And it looks like they're pretty similar. Again, drawing on my computer is a little difficult. They look the same size and the same shape, so it looks like we're good. Right, next one. Maybe. Alright, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing. We're going to plot my pre-image. So that's at -5, 0. Then -5, 3. Then -2, 3. And 1, -3. So this guy makes a weird shape. Kind of like a kite. That was the idea anyways. So then I'm going to do my image in my purple again. You know, keeping it the same. So I'm going to do my points in here. We're going to subtract 3 from my x's, and then we're going to add 6 to my y's. So I'm going to be at -8, 6 for that first point. -8, 9 for that second point. -5, 9 for that third point. And -2, 3 for that last point. So we're at -8, 6. Then -8, 9. Then -5, 9. And -2, 3. So if you notice, my last point actually lies on the original. That's why we're doing the different colors or the shading method, however you want to do it. So that way you can see which one's which, because they do hit each other. That's the second one. Our third one, we're going to reflect. So if you bring out your formula sheet, if you reflect across the x-axis, your rule is, xy turns into x -y. So let's go ahead and plot our original shape. We have -9, 6. This one gives me letters, so we can go ahead and put letters. That last one didn't. So that's my E, not E prime. Oops, most of it up. F is at 2, 7. And G is at negative 5, 1. So to do my image, so I'm keeping with the blue and purple thing, or the black and purple theme today. My Y is going to stay the same, so I'm going to be at negative 9. Excuse me. Back up. My X is going to stay the same. My Y will be the opposite. So I'll be at negative 9, negative 6, 2, negative 7, and negative 5, negative 1. Come on. And that is a negative 7 in case, I know it looks like a regular 7, it's supposed to be negative 7. So we have negative 9, negative 6. So there's E prime. 2, negative 7. There's my F prime. And negative 5, negative 1. So there's my G prime. If you notice, we flipped that guy across the x-axis, which is down here. Right now we're going to flip across the y. So let's go ahead and do our original picture. I'm going to move this over just a smidge. Yeah. So I have negative 9, 6, which is Q. I have negative 1, 8. That is R. Negative 2, 4, which is S. And I have negative 6, 2, which is T. Kind of looks like a trapezoid there. If we're going to reflect across the Y this time, my X comma Y will turn into negative X, Y. So it means my Y is going to change signs. It means my X is going to change signs. So Q prime will be at 9, 6. R will be at 1, 8. And S will be at 2. Oops, I wrote S instead of S. Not what I wanted to do. S will be at 2, 4. And T will be at 6, 2. So what I did is I changed, or I flipped all of the X signs. So we have 9, 6. That's my Q prime. 1, 8. That's my R prime. 2, 4. Oops, one not enough. S prime and 6, 2, which is T prime. Drawing on my computer is great. So I know it doesn't look the greatest right there the way I did it because I drew from my Q to the R letter, not my actual dot. And I should have, again, an isometry with these. Third one, we're going to reflect across the line y is equal to x. So that rule is when my y and my x flip spots. So let's plot the original points. I have negative 2, 9. Sorry guys. I have 2, 7. I have negative 5, negative 2. I have negative 8, 0. So my x and y are going to flip spots. So I'm going to be at 9, negative 2. Be at 7, 2. Negative 2, negative 5. and 0, negative 8. 7, 9, negative 2. 7, 2. There we go. Negative 2, negative 5. And 0, negative 8. Ooh, I'm gonna have to scroll down a smidge. And again, we have a nice isometry going on. You can kind of see the reflection line. Because remember, the line y equals x is where x and y are exactly the same point. So here's that reflection line. So if you notice, it is flipped over exactly on the line. I could fold it in half and be right there. All right, now we're going to do the opposite. We're going to do the line y is equal to negative x. And when we do that one, my xy flip spots and become the opposite sign. So let's do my original points. I have 2, 5. 9, 3. And 5, 8. That y just looked way too much like an x. I had to fix it. So there's my original. So everything's going to flip and become the opposite sign. So I'm going to have negative 5, negative 2. I'm going to have negative 3 and negative 9. Why are you putting blue in there? I'm all confused. And negative 8, negative 5. So let's go ahead and plot those. So we're at, I'm wondering if I do this. Negative 5, negative 2 puts me down here. Negative 3, negative 9 puts me down here. And negative 8, negative 5 puts me over here. Again, you can see the reflection line. I don't know what to do. Right there. We reflected across that line. Notice how y was over here and is now all the way down here. Alright, for rotations, when we're going to go 180 degrees, my xy will turn into negative x, negative y. So let's go ahead and plot my originals. I'm at negative 6, negative 5. I'm at negative 4, negative 1. And I'm at negative 1, negative 2. So we're going to rotate this guy 180 degrees. So my x and y stay the same spot. They just become the opposite signs. So I'll be at 6, 5, 4, 1, and 1, 2. Four, 1, and 1, 2. Again, drawing is not the greatest, but we should all see a isometry. Okay, we're going to rotate clockwise 90 degrees, and on your formula sheet you see counterclockwise, counterclockwise, counterclockwise. So counterclockwise is opposite, Nope, that looks, hold on, I'm mirroring to you. So counterclockwise is this way. So when we go around backwards, so it's like we're starting at 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, so on and so forth. Clockwise is when we start at 12 and go to 1, 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth. If I have something that is 270 degrees, counter, that is the same thing as saying 90 degrees clockwise. Because if you think about it, 270, pause for a second, in your rotation, you have 360 degrees. You can essentially rotate in the circle. Well, 360 minus 90 gives me 270. So those rules are exactly the same thing. Even though it says on your sheet 270 counter and asks you to go 90 clockwise, it's because they mean the same thing. Alright, so let's go ahead and write that rule. So that's where my XY flips spots and my X becomes the opposite sign. So let's graph it first. I'm gonna have to make this a little bit smaller so I can see everything. So we have -5, -2. Is that S? We have -4, -8. Might move my letter there. T. We have -1, -6 for U, and then we have -1, -2 for V. Yeah, excuse me a little. Oh, dang. I was trying to move that S, but it was just attached to that dot. So when we go ahead and rotate 90, we're going to use my formula. My Y stays the same, so I'm going to have -2. And then we're going to have the opposite of what my X was, so 5. So -8 and +4. -6, 1. -2, 1. So -2, 5. -8, 4. Oops, sorry. -6, 1. And -2, 1. There we go. We got them rotated. Alright, number 9, we're going to do counterclockwise, 90 degrees, which is what you see on your formula sheet. So that's where my XY will turn into -Y. Okay. X. So my X and Y switch spots, and then the Y becomes opposite. So we have X at 1, -2. 2, -7 for that Y. And 2, -1 for that Z. So he's a funny looking triangle. He's very close together. Okay, so for my changed points, I'm going to have the opposite Y value, so 2, with the same X, which is 1. So 7, 2, and 1, 2. So we have 2, 1, 7, 2, and 1, 2. I wanted to, oh, that's really bad. X is here, Y is here, and Z is up here. I didn't want to put the letters on yet just because I knew it was going to be so close together, so I didn't want to mislabel anything or get it in my way like it did on the other one. Alright, glide reflections. So we're going to do the original in black like we've been doing. So let's do that first. So I have A at 3, -3. B is at 7, -1. Darn it. I have to move that. Goodbye, A. The reason I'm moving him is so that my lines, I can make nice straight lines. C is going to be at 9, -5, so I need to scroll down a little bit. And D is at 6, -6. So there's my original. What we're going to do is we're going to translate it left 7 and up 8. So I'm going to use purple here. So 3 minus 7 gives me -4. -3 plus 8 gives me +5. 7 minus 7 gives me 0. -1 plus 8 gives me 7. 9 minus 7 gives me 2. -5 plus 8 gives me 3. 6 minus 7 gives me -1. And -6 plus 8 gives me 2. So next I'm going to plot the purple. So I have -4, 5. Oops, one more. So that's A prime, 0, 7, B prime. C prime is at 2, 3. And D prime is at -1, 2. Okay, next we need to do the reflection part, which I'm going to pick red for. So remember that is XY turns into -Y, -X. So they flip spots and become the opposite signs. So I'm going to have -5, 4. I'm going to have -7, 0. I'm going to have -3, -2. I'm going to have -2, 1. Scroll down a little bit so I have more room. Can utilize that that third quadrant down over here. So I have -5, 4. 1, 2, 4. I have -7, 0. Let's be triple prime. -3, -2. And -2, 1. There is my shape. He stayed isometric, again, as best I can. We slid him and then we flipped him. That's all I have for you. Good luck on your test.